Hello folks, welcome to Gary's World and Workshop for part 2 of Let's Resin Starter Kit. I unboxed, the first video was unboxing, this video was all about let's get cracking and make something. So we got our resin out. First thing we want to do is get our gloves on because you don't want this stuff all over your hands. And if you do, alcohol is the best way of removing it. So we'll get our cup, and I think we're going to do about 8 ounces. So we want 4 ounces of each one, A and B. Sometimes they're called resin and hardener and vice versa. Not really sure if it makes any difference which one you put in first. If there is a difference and you know there's a difference, leave me a comment. I'd love to know if there's any difference between it. So that's part A. Pour it in. Pour very slowly to try to keep the air bubbles out. Is the tip for the day. So there we go. We got A in there. Now we're going to go with B. Yep, that's A. And then here we come with B, the epoxy resin. So we're going to pour it in up to the 8 ounce mark. So we have 4 ounces of each one. It's got to be exact 1-to-1 ratio. So we're pouring that in slowly. This is part B we're putting in slowly. And that's all there is to that part. Now we'll grab one of our trusty popsicle sticks that come with the kit. And you want to stir very, very slowly, just like this. Slow. You want to get all the edges, all the sides, all the bottom. You'll see it swirling. It's hard to tell, but you can see a little bit on the camera there, but it swirls. So now they're all done. I poured some into a smaller container here. All mixed up. Takes approximately 3 or 4 minutes. With moving very slow and try to get the air bubbles out. And there's another. Alcohol wipes. These are handy for wiping out your molds or something in them, as well as cleaning your hands and your tools and what have you that you got epoxy on. These molds have to be absolutely clean inside. You cannot have anything or it shows up in your resin, and then you got a big clunk of dirt there. So that's not what you want to do. So here we go, we're going to pour a little tiny bit in here, because this pyramid, we're going to do something a little different here. This is all experimental, by the way. So I've never done this, I've done epoxy before. Many different things, but I've never actually done this one. So we're going to take, unfortunately this is not in the kit, but this is like sand that I buy at the dollar store. It's, I don't know, $2 or whatever it is for a whole container of it. So I'm going to mix some of this into the epoxy. You could go with just some of the coloring stuff or whatever you want that comes with the kit. This is entirely up to you. This is my experiment at trying a few different things with this mold, I guess you would say. So I'm mixing in some of this slowly again. You don't want any air bubbles in there. Alright, now I'm going to add a little bit of more color to it there because it's kind of a boring sandy color actually. So I'm going to open up this, and some of this glitter stuff, there's like a goldish color glitter type thing. Then I'm going to put it out there. It is there. Comes in a little package. Great little stuff. Like I say, you can add in, do whatever you like. This is just what I'm doing. So this you want to just put not too much in this. You don't need a whole lot really to add some color. So we just mix that in. See that nice coppery, golden, brassy type color, I guess you would say, with this sand. So I think that's going to be perfect for what I'm going to do here. So back to this pyramid. I want to make it like a pyramid. I want to add the bottom here. I'm going to pour some of this in the bottom, which is actually the top of the mold. So I want the crown of the mold to have this kind of sandy, coppery, golden type top to it. I guess you would say. So you pour it in there, poke around with it a bit to make sure there's no air bubbles or anything in it. And I'm actually going to let that sit and dry for a while before I do any more to it. What I'm going to do to it, this is an example of my idea. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just give you a quick demo here on what's going to come up. So I 3D printed this little coffin thing I made up. And I have these little skeleton heads for some of my paracord stuff that I do, some of the jewelry things I do. I make little mummies out of paracord. But anyway, so I thought that'd be kind of neat. Put this mummy inside this pyramid. So I'm just going to take a bit of just typical cheap white glue, dollar store, cheapest stuff you can find. It all works fine for this kind of stuff. Again, I'm going to get some of this little sand I got from the dollar store. Again, I'm going to put some of that in there. Just more or less to fill it up. Really, I could. I'm debating on going with mixing up some black epoxy or resin or something. But anyways, this is what I decided to do at the end. There we are. There's their sand. So then I'll just take my little head. We'll get him up in the camera if I can get him there. There we go. So it's a little skeleton head with a hole in him. Really is all he is. So I'm just going to place him in there. And then there we are. That's what I have. So I'm going to let that sit aside and let that cure, because that's got to be all cured before we can go to the next step. So I think he's kind of a cute little fella, isn't he? So there he is, all cured up. So basically he's going to go inside there, but of course upside down. So he's going to sit in there like that. Is what he's going to do. So he'll be at the bottom, and the golden part is going to be the top. So let them all get cured up pretty good. Now for the globe or ball, I've never done one of these molds before. I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit tricky, but fun at the same time. So I have an idea for it too. I 3D printed this little tugboat, I guess you would call it. They call it a Benchy in the 3D world. If you do any 3D printing at all, you know exactly what this is. I'm going to put him inside, so I'm going to have a boat inside the globe. I thought it might be kind of a fun thing to do. And I have some of these little small, very small little seashells and little starfish. I'm going to put them in the bottom of this. So when you're facing this mold, actually the bottom is the bottom. So we're going to take a bit of mixed up resin there, pour it in here slowly so we don't get any bubbles. And then we're going to get some blue. I want a little bit of blue color in it here, so like watercolor. You know, this is going to be under the water, in the water, so give it a bit of a blue tinge. So this is some of that blue crystal flakes type thing, sparkly blue color. So I'm just going to put some of that in there. Yeah, I keep debating on if I have enough or not. And I'm like, yes, no, I better put some more. It's the way my mind works. I never know what I'm doing until I'm actually doing it. So I'm going to stir that up a bit. Slowly again. Got to make sure you do all this stuff slow. This takes time, folks. You got to be slow and have patience with this. You can't rush through it too much. Now we have some of this other blue. It's got some flaky, big flakes to it. It's almost like bits of plastic with holograms in it almost. You can kind of see a bit of the sparkle in the video there. It's kind of hard to tell. So I'm going to put a few of them in there for just some little extra something floating around in the water there. I think it might look kind of neat. I decided I wanted a little darker yet. It's still kind of clear. I wanted more of a blue color. So I'm going to put some more other little blue crystals inside there, as you can see. And we'll mix that up slowly again. There we go, we're all mixed up. Now we're just going to pour that in the bottom of this. Yeah, I'm going to pour it. Go ahead. Pour. There we go. I'm trying something new. This is a voiceover after I recorded this, so this is something new again that I'm trying to learn all this video and audio stuff. Becoming a bit of a challenge, but we're getting through it. Always good. I hope you're enjoying it, and if you are, be sure to hit that like button down below and hit that bell and subscribe, and you'll see all my videos. Be informed. So here I am now. I'm going to put some of these shells in. They're a bit of a trick because they're hollow in the middle, of course. They're real shells. So they end up with air inside them. So they want to float. So you got to do a lot of poking around like this and get them in and get them down inside and try to get all the air of them. So there they are. They're all in the bottom of the resin there now. So to put this boat in, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to. So I'm going to take a stick and a couple of cups. And that works out just about the right height. That's just about perfect for what I want. Because I want the boat to be suspended there. I can't just fill it up and put the boat in there, because the boat is probably going to sink or tip and all kinds of problems with it. At the end of the video, I'll explain something different, because it really didn't work out so well. A better way of doing it. But anyways, for this time, first experimental, this is what I'm doing. So my little shells started floating up again, the starfish there, so I have to pop them back down in there again. Make sure I get all the air out of them, poke them down. Yeah, they're all submerged under the water there now, or under the resin. Not water, just looks like water. I want it to look like water. Anyways, okay, so we're going to top this up a bit more with some more resin. Get it up to where I near need it. And get these shells. They keep coming up on me. They're a bit of a pain in the butt. Like I say, at the end of the video I'll show you what happened, and I'll try to remember to tell you what I'll do next time, because I'm definitely going to make this again. This didn't quite work out perfect, but say it's all experimental, folks. It's all experimental. So I get to do all this experimenting, so you don't have to. So you can learn by my mistakes. How's that? I'll make all kinds of mistakes for you. Which is kind of what this video is all about. This is like for a beginning. This is what you're going to be going through, and these are some problems you may have. So I am kind of, well, I'm not really cutting corners, but I know mistakes that I'm making that I've made before, and I'm kind of making them again, so you see what's happening. So the boat is in there. We'll get our square mold out here now, and we're going to pour some. The bolt's just going to sit there now. I got to let it cure a bit before I try moving it. So I got some marbles. So I don't lose my marbles. I've lost them years ago. I just found them again here now, so I think I've got like 4 marbles left. Yeah, 4 marbles. So I'm just gonna put some marbles in there. I thought they might look kind of neat. And I'm gonna move around here a bit, because you get air bubbles every time you touch something in there. You'll get some little bubbles, so you just move around with a popsicle stick and hit them, and they should burst. If they don't, it'll bring them up to the surface. Once they get to the surface, you can get a little lighter, and you can go across the surface with a lighter, and that will pop any bubbles that happens to be up top. Best to use one of them long neck lighters. Lighters are actually the best thing. Some people use heat guns and stuff like that, but you can actually burn, or torches. You can actually melt the mold itself, and you don't want that. So lighter works perfectly fine for that. So there's our marbles in there. That was rather straightforward and easy. We'll let it aside. We got our boat aside. Everything's aside curing overnight. So here we are back with our pyramid. This is actually the next day. This is 24 hours later that this is cured. So I'm going to pour some just some clear resin back in the pyramid, and we're going to get our little mummy guy, and I put some resin in the mummy itself before I put it in there to try to hopefully get rid of some air bubbles and stuff, so it'll actually have a coating on it, so there shouldn't be any bubbles down inside there. Is the idea behind this. So I'm just making sure it's good and full of resin. Then I'm going to pop it upside down and lay it inside. And here's a mistake right off the bat that beginners make, and I make all the time still. I forgot to put gloves on. So I'm trying to keep my fingers out of it, but easier said than done. I'm liable to get something on my fingers, and then I'll have to get some alcohol, wipe it off. So I'm moving this up and down sideways, so trying to get any air bubbles that might be underneath there out. That's why I'm doing all this moving around here. So we're going to get it in there. There we go. And let it cure for a while. And then here we are mixing up some more resin, all mixed up, nice and clear, mixed up slowly. Now we have our coaster. And we're going to pour some, again, slow. Pour some just into this coaster. And we'll go around, just get some in there, nice and easy, nice and even. Just take your time. Or again, I forgot my gloves again. So do as I say, don't do as I do. How's that? Because I'm making lots of mistakes here, so I'll tell you what my mistakes are that I know I'm making a mistake, and then I can say do as I say, not as I do. So I'm just moving this around so it's all nice, even coat in there. So it's a nice coat. It's about halfway up. Again, I'm taking a long net lighter, and any air bubbles up top there, that's just going to pop them out. See, these lighters, they won't hurt the mold, they won't hurt nothing. They'll pop the air bubbles. Now we'll take some of these flowers. We're going to put some flowers in this. Make a nice little coaster. Nice spring, summer sunshine. I think I'll make this coaster and take it down to the cottage. I'll put this one down to the cottage. It'd be kind of nice to have out on the deck in the summertime. Putting your cold drink on. Cold drink is something to mention when you do these epoxy. This particular epoxy isn't designed for high heat. So if you want to make a coaster for like coffee, hot cups of coffee and tea, what have you, you want a different kind of a resin. There's different stuff for temperatures, for high heat. That's what you're going to want. For this kind of stuff, from like this glasses, this is fine. So there we are with all our flowers in there, and I'm just pushing them around, getting the petals down, getting the air bubbles out. Takes quite a bit of mucking around with it, just poking at stuff, getting it all down. So there we go. They're all in there. I'm going to get another layer, top it up now, up to the top with the epoxy resin. Yeah, pretty nice. And again, our flowers float sometimes a little bit. You got to get the air out of them and get them kind of saturated in the resin so they'll stay down in place. So this can either be the top or the bottom, depending on what you want to do. I'm actually making it this will be the top, so I can see exactly how the flowers are, and we'll set that aside for 24 hours. Let that cure. So now we got these all cured up. The bottom half. So there's my boat in the bottom half. Kind of cool, eh? Look at that. So you can see, yeah, some of my shells floated up there again. You can see that bit of a bug. Anyways, like I say, I learned a few things on that. So we'll just close this up. Some people will take hot glue and they go around and seal this up. Other people use tape. different ways. I decided to just use some duct tape, just for security reasons, and make sure it's all good and sealed up in there. Because the last thing we need is that to start spilling out the side somewhere, and you go back and check in 24 hours, and you got resin all over the place. So it's just kind of a insurance thing to put the tape around it there. So now we're going to pour very slowly. We're going to fill up the top part. And we're just going to pour it in there slowly and right up to the top. And there we go. Give it a little squeezy here and there. We'll set that aside for 24 hours. See how well that works. Now the diamond, or I'm calling it a diamond anyways. See what we can mix up with it. So let's see what we got in here. Not really sure what I'm going to do with this yet. So I'll just kind of dump them out and see what I got. See, you have to, this kit is good because you get quite a variety of stuff. There's a lot of different things you can do here. Different colors, mixtures, and put different stuff in. It's endless. This is just what I'm doing and experimenting around, see what I can do. So I'm going to try this Resin green. I think that's what I'm going to... Because Christmas is coming. I'm actually making the video near the end of November. So Christmas is coming, so I thought, well, I'll make it Resin green. See how things turn out. Make it kind of a sparkly, big diamond paperweight. I guess maybe I might use it for. Or just put it on the shelf. Not sure. Anyways, it's just fun to make this. See what happens. So here we are going in with some of the red, the sparkles. I'm going to dump some of that in there. And mix that up. Not too quick now, just go slow. Get it mixed up in there. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed in. There we go, we're getting a nice and deep red there now. That's what we want. So that's our red. And then here's our green sparkles. I'm going to dump a bunch of green in there. Now we're going to mix that up. So we're going to have red and green. There we are, red and green sparkles. And this green is some of them flaky kind of things. Not really sure what they are. I should know what they are, but I don't. I'm just going to dump the whole works of them in there. Because there's not that many of them, and it should give it lots of sparkle, I would think. So I'm going to mix them in there nice and slow. There we go. So that's quite a colorful mixture there. And then I got some white here. I'm going to throw some white in there too. Just to add a little more to it there. So we'll throw that in there, mix that up. Lots of color in this now. There we go, look at that. That should look pretty cool, I think. So we're just going to pour that in the mold. And that's simple as this one gets. Just a mixture of stuff. I'm going to pour it in. Not much to this one at all, really. Fairly simple, easy. I'm going to go around the edges. This is where you're going to get air bubbles. And squeeze, see them squeezing and that, trying to make sure there's no trapped air bubbles in underneath there anywheres. Anything with a ledge on it like that, quite often you'll get an air bubble in there. You won't see it until it's too late. So I'm giving it a good mix in there, making sure there's no air bubbles and it all went in through everywheres. It's starting to look pretty good. And add a little more there, top it up. It's not quite full yet. Won't take very much. There we go. I think that pretty well topped it off. So I have some of this extra left, that coloring. So I have, this is not in your kit, but this, I never waste any. So I have these molds for making jewelry and stuff. So that's why I have these. But unfortunately, if you don't have this, you just end up having to throw that. So I just put that in there just because I had them. So here we are, the big reveal. Another 24 hours later again, where everything's all cured up nicely. So we're going to demold and see what we have. We'll start with our coaster. Let's see what it looks like. Ah, look at that. Pretty nice. Nice and clear. Nice, clean, shiny. There we go. Look at that. I can make a nice little coaster for summertime, I think, out at the cottage. Beautiful. Even up bottom looks fine. Do whatever you want. It's yours. Make it yours. I guess I should be saying. It's your project. Do what you like with it. As long as you're happy with it, that's all that matters. Enjoy yourself, folks. Now, for our marbles. So I'll never lose my marbles again. Tell that to my wife. Anyways. So a little tricky trying to get this out. It's kind of like stuck a bit. Yeah, I'm pushing and prying on it. So if you take some, again, some alcohol, I buy this alcohol in spray, 70%, works fine. And some of these molds, I'll just open them up a bit and I'll give them a little shot. This will help release it from the mold. And I'll do a little pushing here and there. And then up comes the mold. I'm pushing in the bottom and she just pop right out. There we go, we're pulling the mold out. I'm really not sure why this went into slow motion on me, but it did, so just bear with me. Because I don't know how to fix it. To be honest with you. Like I say, I'm just this is all new to me. If you know what happened, leave me a comment and tell me what happened. I'd love to know and how to fix it. So I'm just gonna take a piece of paper towel here and clean it up a little bit, get some of that alcohol off it. And we just give it a bit of a wipe down. There are marbles and a cube. I'll never lose my marbles again. Looks pretty neat, actually. That's kind of cool. Marbles in there. So you put whatever you want in there. Put nothing in there. Just make it clear cube if you want. And a lot of people put flowers in there, like they'll take a rose and they'll put a rose in there. That's another video in itself. Just kind of throwing it out there that some ideas that people do. Okay. And here we go with our diamond. Showed on the sides to get the mold to pop out of there. And there we go, she just pops right out. Here, we'll bring it up to the camera here and have a better look at it. Funny, put all that, I put red and green in there, put all that green in there, and green hardly even shows up. The red kind of dominated everything. So again, experimenting. You don't know what's going to happen until you try it. So where some of my green went, sunk to the bottom maybe. I don't know. Or it floated to the top. I guess this would have been the top. Part would have floated up because that's the way it was poured, kind of upside down. So that was our diamond. Now for our pyramid. I over this one. I think this might turn out pretty good. Okay, here we are now demolding this pyramid. We'll get it out of the mold here. I say again, I have to apologize for the slow motion, but I don't know what to do about it and I can't make this video over again. Anyhow, there we go. Okay, now you see on the, I poured in a little too much resin, so it overflowed the top a little bit, so there's like this ridge around the side. All you gotta do is just take a knife. As long as you're doing this within 24 hours of curing. If you go like 3 or 4 days, it'll be too hard to cut. Then you'll have to sand it or something to get it off. But if it's like 24 hours or so, it's still soft enough that you'll be able to trim this off on the side, as you can see me doing there right now. And that'll work fine for you. Okay, so now we got it all trimmed up, and that's it for the pyramid. It's looking pretty cool though, I think. It really is. So we'll move on to the globe here, or ball, sphere, or whatever you want to call it. Had a bit of an issue with this. When I set it to cure, and then I looked at it the next day, and it actually tipped over on me. That's why you can see where my finger is up there. We'll show you here in a second when I get it around. And my big air bubble in there. See, that's basically how it was tipped that way. So it sucked in the air from the top and poured down the side there. You see in my left hand side there, you can see with some spilt down and left this big air bubble. So now we're going to take the tape off and take it apart and see how bad it really is. Yeah. So here we go. Let's see what's inside. Oh, it looks pretty nice. Huh. Well, it worked. Sort of. So next time I do one of these, probably my number one thing is going to be make sure it's braced up enough so it doesn't tip over on you. But you get this kind of, oh, look, kind of looks like a porthole. It actually looks kind of neat. You probably couldn't do that again if I tried. Anyhow, these are my little pendants and stuff for jewelry. This was the leftover stuff, so I just thought I'd throw that in there so show you how that looks. Or pendant for a little necklace or something. Smaller ones, you can do earrings or something with them. Whatever you want, all sorts of stuff, things you can do with these. So it's just kind of showing you what they're like. Okay, so well, here we have it. They're all done, cleaned up, shined up. And this is what we made. So let's have a look, see what we got here. And we're back to normal speed, thank God. I don't know what happened there. I apologize for that. There's our nice little coaster. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all, eh? And in case you ever lose your marbles, this is how to preserve them. Yeah. That worked out pretty good. I kind of like that. Our diamond, well, you know, I'm kind of sad that the green didn't show up in there. I would have thought it'd be pretty cool for Christmas time. Almost looked like a little Christmas tree if I had some green in there, but anyhow. And this was really cool. I kind of like this. I might make another one of these, but make it a little bit better. Now that I know a few little things that it went wrong on it, but it's pretty sharp. Kind of neat. You go on that angle there and you hit up with two of them. Looks like two in there, but that's kind of cool. This thing is a bit of a disappointment. The seashells rose on me and tipped over and left this big porthole. I kind of like the porthole though. That's kind of neat in a way, but yeah, I actually think I'm going to do this again. But I'll take my time and really it really plan things out much better. I think I might take some UV resin first and glue the seashells and that to the bottom first. And of course make sure it doesn't tip over, etc, etc, etc. So there you have it, folks. That is the Let's Resin starter kit. Molds, that's what you can make. Everything except for them little painted ones. So, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Please like, share, subscribe, ring that little bell, and we'll see you next time.